Hi, I'm Real Genetic Demon, and this is Escape from the Planet of the Robot Monsters on the Amstrad CPC. I'm playing this on my. Actually, this is the first game I've actually played on my. Well, not the first game, but this is the first sort of YouTube video I've actually done on my 6128. And I thought this was an apt game to try because actually a number of weeks ago I did an arcade, the 20p arcade challenge. I'll put a description in the link below on this very game. And I wondered how it held up on the actual Amstrad. And the answer to the question is, it held up really well. Now, I must apologise, occasionally a big blue block will appear in the bottom of the screen. That's my upscaler, and that's because I haven't yet worked out how to scale my videos properly, because I've got it's a funny thing anyway. But yeah, so Escape from the Planet of the Robot Monsters. This is actually an Atari game, and the arcade game's funny because you kind of continually walk, and the 8-bit version is weird because it kind of follows that isometric style walking, which is really annoying. If you see what I mean, I'll show you in a second anyway. So I'll just press start. Okay, so the idea is we're on this planet and the robot monsters are on here, and basically you've got to get the hostages back, find and destroy all the robots basically. So there's a big bosses occasionally. So save Professor, whatever he's called. He'll save the world. All right. Okay. Right, there we go. And I press him with bomb, and bomb's back. Now, so what I'll tell you is, so I'm shooting here. Now, you can rotate with left and right, and then you walk forward, and it's that isometric walk. So that's a person I meant to save there. And it's really annoying because it's not conducive to very easy to play. Now, in the arcade version, you walk in directions. On this version you don't. Now, however, what I'm going to point out though is the graphics are very similar to the arcade. Obviously the resolutions isn't quite as high. However, I'm going to shoot all these things here. However, and the blue, by the way, the green thing is to improve the weapon. However, it really is quite nice. It works quite nicely. The rooms don't scroll like they do in the arcade version, but I'm going to let it off with all these things because it actually plays really well. So I've got to turn on the lift. And this is actually very similar to the very first level, and I was quite surprised that it actually was so good in that comparison. And the graphics are nice. Did I say that? I think I've said that already. And you still can fall off the edge as well, because there's this whole edge walking thing. Look, watch. Ah! And then you have to jump, press your fire button, and tap to go back up again. Right, so we're going to save this hostage. She's working on that. I'll shoot this robot. You can't. If you shoot them, the hostages go sort of. Watch. There you go. She sort of catches fire, which is fine. So it's extra points for doing that. I really like it. I don't think, as I say, my only problem is the walking thing. It's one of these games that's kind of so weird and so wonderful, and so B-movie that it's ripe for a remake. And I have to admit that I really like the styling of it. I think it's a great game. I think, as I say, I think it's underrated. I think it was Chris Caldwell who suggested this for the arcade challenge, or when he'd won he suggested this, and it was really good. And I have to admit, I think it was one of those. It's just so surreally brilliant. It's lovely on the Amiga as well. It looks really good on that. It works really well. But again, the movement is the thing that lets it down. If there's any one drawback with this particular game, it's the way it moves. Even in the arcade version, it moves very badly. You could have done with it just pointing the joystick and going the way you wanted it to go, and that's not what happens, unfortunately, which is a bit of a shame. Right, I'll try and collect that for extra points. There we go. Now, funnily enough, I'm actually probably doing better than I did in the arcade challenge, because I'm actually making it through this level here quite nicely. Oh, got blown up by that. Got 4 lives. You get a little health bar, which has got the yellow things at the bottom of the screen. You have got, to go with your 4 lives, you've got, these things are horrible, they sort of explode. In the arcade version, they're really tough to beat. They're very hard to beat. you've got bombs, which you do by pulling backwards on the joystick instead of walking forward. So I suppose that kind of covers the sort of movement element of it. Kind of makes more sense if you realise that you'll be able to bomb by pulling back on the joystick or pulling down on the joystick. I don't like these things. Go away, go away. Your beam gets stronger. Oh, got away. That's it. That's the lift on. Let's get up there. It's not as frantic as the arcade version, however, it's difficult enough with this joystick thing. So I'm kind of gonna let it off. But look at all those creatures wandering around the screen. It's quite a lot, actually. To be honest, there's a lot going on, and it loses. It's a lovely use of that palette. And a thing I say about the Amstrad palette is it's very. At the time, it's very arcadey. The Amstrad palette. It's the colours, the gaudiness of the colours of the arcade. Because to be fair, arcade games of the past were very. They weren't what I would call dark coloured arcade games. They were all loud and leery. They kind of. And I have to shoot this machine here to get these guys out. They were loud and leery. And this is one of those games that really kind of does that. And the Amstrad palette is very much. It's right for this. It needs to be loud. It needs to be shouting red and shouting orange and shouting greens and shouting yellows. It's just one of those colours that need to be done. A specky version, of course, is all monochrome, which is to be fair, can you imagine putting all these colours on the spectrum? The clash would have been horrendous, I'm afraid to say. I've gone up the level without saving this. There we go. But anyway, we made it out of the level. Flown up. And obviously it's 2-player too. I don't think there's any way of going any faster with that, no. We just have to watch as we get extra points for every one of the people we've saved. So we get dropped into the next level. Now there's like a sub-level where you have to fly along in a vehicle. Now I haven't got to that on this, so I'm interested to know whether or not it will actually happen or not. Now here's a boss. So this boss here, I've found that if you just stand underneath him and kind of drop bombs on him, you can also stand over here, it seems, and not be hit. If you run down far enough, you can kind of stand there and not be hit. It's a bit of an annoying boss though, because it took me quite a while to kill him. I actually think it's a she, because I'm just looking at sort of body armor in the front. I think it's a she, but I'm not entirely sure. Some kind of frog-like reptile creature. Yeah, I definitely think it's a she, not a he. But it's nice to see them the zapping. There we go. So let's go grab our. Oh, missed them all because of the rotating thing. I'm blaming the rotation. It's still good though. Couldn't see because of the flashing. There we go, and we're out. Next level. Saved some more hostages. Let's say, really quite enjoyed it. It's you know, it's very similar to the arcade. The movement is as erratic as the arcade, and I say that with as a positive thing, because the arcade's movement is just horrible, but at the same time it's not a bad thing. I'm just going to continue because there's one more credit in here, so let's go for it. There's a button over there. I've actually gone further in this than I did on the arcade version when I did the challenge, funnily enough. The creatures are good. Oh. There's attention to detail as well, like that little camera running over the top there that's sort of going, you know, watching my every move. There we go, up on this escalator. Now, I've been to this... Don't kill me! Oh, it's turned me round. It's turned me round. It killed me. Damn it. That wasn't very good. But yeah, I actually think Escape from the Planet of the Robot Monsters is actually a really good game on the Amstrad CPC. I really think it's worth playing, and it looks good as well, which is also a benefit. So worth a try, worth a go. I've been your host, Real Genetic Demon. Thank you for watching. Please feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in my next video. Bye bye now.